How many times is Nintendo going to sell you the same game without touching it up? Will they ever run out of Resident Evils to keep redoing? And was the Crash Insane trilogy the greatest remake and remaster of all time? This and more on this episode of Playconomics. See, Matt, in the beginning there, you had a little bit of a weird face. You thought I was going to make this another a Nintendo episode.
I thought this was strictly a Nintendo video.
What would you do if
like,
this was just
cool,
my same episode from 2 weeks ago, and I completely played it off like I had never given you this information before?
I mean, I would not sit through that.
No, Matthew. Today we're going to be discussing remakes, demakes, remasters, reboots, and if they're cash grabs by soulless corporations to just suck money out of your pockets like a Dyson vacuum, or if they're a product tailor-made for fans and their enjoyment.
This is just a pitch that Resident Evil 4 should have won Game of the Year, isn't it?
Now, I don't necessarily think you should give away the end of the episode just yet.
I love where this episode is going. And I'd also like to know, before you really get into this, that you said, is the Crash Insane trilogy the best remake, remaster that's ever came out? The Spyro Reignited trilogy exists.
I mean, it's a question, Matt. It's a question. Is the Earth flat, right? Like, are we living with a body double Joe Biden? Like, these are questions that have a yes or no answer. All of them, yes.
Reignited trilogy is the best remastered trilogy ever made.
So
I bought it twice.
I know you. First of all, that's obscene. Second of all, I'd like to kind of go through here by giving like a brief history rundown of just some early examples of game remakes and how people receive them. Right?
Do you have what was the first remake ever?
I don't, and I did look that up. Did look that up. From what most people were saying, Tetris, which I buy.
Okay,
you get a new version of Tetris all the time.
That's fair. But like, imagine being in the boardroom, like for the first real remake, like the Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green remakes.
Oh, we're gonna touch on Pokemon, man.
And Nintendo's just sitting there like, what do we like? We want more money. We don't want to make another game because it's expensive to make games. What if we give them the same exact game again?
Oh, we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about the ratio of budget to profit in a second here. But okay, I want to kind of go over this.
Hit me.
Because as we've sort of progressed through at least our lifetime as gamers, remakes have always been a thing, but I would say have really come into their own as a standalone feature product in the last 10 years. Would you say that's fair? Right? Because if you look back, obviously, like you said, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then the greatest Pokemon games ever, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but we also had great examples on the GameCube with things like Twin Snakes and Resident Evil 1 remake, right? Like, this isn't a new thing.
No.
But it's a new thing in the sense of how much money studios are pouring into it.
Yes, this used to be a fast turnaround, like free, basically gimme. Now it's almost like they're trying to justify it as a completely new game.
Correct. And in some cases, Resident Evil 4 Remake, you could justify that it is the greatest game of all time. Better than Elden Ring.
No,
I said it, and it's true.
It's because,
I will not.
It's because you can't beat the first boss in the DLC, and you're tilted.
First of all, I did beat the first boss in the DLC.
Okay.
I also moved, as you can see. I'm clearly in a black site.
My question is, do you have any remembrances? I'm not talking about the jail night from the first like tomb that you get. I'm saying you beat anybody with any gusto, Bobby.
So what I want to do first is really I want to get your definition, Matt, on a remake versus a remaster, just so we can delineate on the examples I'm going to go ahead and give you Facts and logic.
Okay. You're not going to like my definition.
Let's hear it,
They
pal.
So you want do you want my definition of like what they each are, or do you
Yes, yes.
want what makes them
What
different?
how do you sort the two?
I don't. I consider them the exact same thing. And I guarantee you that is not the answer you were looking for, but I see give me your definition. Educate me. What is the difference between a remake and a remaster? Cuz to me, they're borderline the same thing. I would say a remake is just an older game. Like that's how I would differentiate between the two. A remake is
That's an interesting way of being wrong. I think
listen,
that
I'm we know on this
listen,
podcast.
I'm on some silly shit today. So
I'm okay with being wrong. Educate me. What is the difference between a remake and a remaster? Because if you describe the same thing twice, I'm gonna punch you. Like
no, so
through the camera.
the way, at least to me, and many people on the internet have sort of categorized this, is a remaster
Mm-hmm.
is a product that has only had slight graphical fidelities applied to it, right? Whereas
Yep.
a remake is a ground up remake, right? You're in a new engine, it's possibly even a different team working on it, and you're rebuilding the game from scratch. Great example of this is the Shadow of the Colossus remake, where
Mm-hmm.
it is different team, new engine.
Yep.
Yes, it is graphically better, but they added new things, right? That's a great one.
Yep.
Paper Mario remake.
100%.
Um,
Last
Link,
of Us 2
what
remaster.
remaster?
Yep.
Excellent point. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I think now that we've kind of understood what the difference between these products are and kind of how the different technical advancements have applied to this, because I really do think that that is what is the main driver here. That as games have been able to be made more efficiently, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot easier to go back and apply the new technology to the product that you already know, in a sense.
Yep. Are we discussing reboots?
Define me a reboot and give me some examples.
God of War. They did the franchise, they closed the loop on it, and now they...
I would say that a reboot, technically, I would say is a new entry.
Okay, so a genre shift or like some major shift in the game that brings it into a whole new story.
Yeah, like Prey. Technically, like is a reboot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, is the new Perfect Dark a reboot?
Ooh, I didn't even think of that terrible game because I only added good ones on the docket.
If you want to know what next week's episode is Perfect Dark the new one? I don't. Does it have a like thing at the end?
You tell me, pal. You tell me.
Is Perfect Dark the best game of the 2020s? That's next week's episode. Just cut that out.
I put so much time into this.
Oh, stop it!
Because you're sitting here.
Stop it!
Oh, these are my charts. You're like Kamala Harris with I love Venn diagrams. Matt's
don't you compare me to Kamala Harris? Don't you do it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, clearly, when I give you charts, they're meaningless.
You have not provided a single chart.
Facts and figures, Matt?
Not a chart. That's the information that goes into a chart. I have no way to visualize anything.
No, that's true. That's like saying I give you a cake and I just handed you like flour and eggs. And
yeah,
I gave you all the different parts.
Fantastic. Chart. I have eggs and flour. Like, what do you want me to do with this?
All right, enough. We're on it.
Yeah.
I'm on some silly shit today.
Yeah.
Now that we understand sort of the overall difference, I want to kind of just get your take before we move into the big financial success stories here on what, if any, impact on your gaming tastes, habits, and nostalgia have remakes and remasters had as a consumer.
I think this is going to be a hot take, so get ready for the clip, internet. I think remakes and remasters have ruined the video game industry personally.
Ooh, so you are going to fall into the soulish cash grab.
Because I'm not even going to take it as the soulless cash grab. I think that remakes and remasters have ruined video games because people do not get out of their comfort zones with video games anymore. You want to play the same game you've always played, and now the companies are just like, well, now it looks a little bit better, and you are completely okay with it. Like, you will never play another Pokemon game because you want it to be Heart Gold and Soul Silver up-resed again, instead of
Well, to be
taking the
fair, I just
risk.
want a good Pokemon game, and
No,
Heart Gold and Soul
yes,
Silver was the last
yes,
good one.
but you get my point, where we as consumers aren't taking risks and we're not playing new IP the way that we should be because we prefer to just play a remake and remaster, or we would prefer to just play the games we always have just a little shinier. Like, for example, if I was to give you your top 5 favorite games of all time and just say every 5 years you're going to get an up-res and the new engine, would you want that? Or would you want new games? Because I would want the up-res of my top 5 favorite games every 5 years.
Oh yeah, you
Exactly.
listen to me. You we're living in, if the economy doesn't crash and we don't go to war and AI doesn't take over and Reptile Man, Lizard Person Joe Biden is still in office. It's if we're living in 2050 and FromSoft is like, Bobby, how about we Neuralink Bloodborne into your brain at 360 FPS?
Exactly.
Baby, I'm getting my saw cleaver and my tri-point hat, and we're hunting some beasts. Fucking tell you.
And if Nintendo said they're going to make a whole new Pokemon game, or they're going to remake Heart Gold Soul Silver, what do you want them to do?
Based on their track record, I would say neither, because they'll still find a way to fuck it up.
Maybe.
But here is where, and this is often the pushback you'll hear from people who give the same criticism that you do, that it's lazy, it's this, it's that. It's why is it that when we hear the same criticisms for the movie industry, often valid, and yet like it's so one coin, two sides, because it's like we were just talking about before this. I'm like, God damn it, Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doctor Doom now.
Yep.
Like how much money did they have to fire hose into his house? Like,
see, but I don't think it's lazy. I think it is literally the companies giving us what we want.
But, and I agree with that, because I'm someone who fucking Wolverine and Deadpool is out.
And yes, and everyone is just mad that they have to, if new Heart Gold Soul Silver comes out, we're getting charged full price. But this is the reason why I don't think it's a cash grab. I think it's an instant win. I don't think it's a cash grab.
Well, not always, and we'll get to that later on.
I think it is a low barrier of entry for a win. Like, if you were to pitch in Sony's headquarters, remake, remaster, or totally new IP, one of those is getting green light instantly.
Horizon, Lego Horizon.
Yeah, like, it's low risk. Very, very low risk. So if we stopped buying them, they wouldn't keep making them. But we want them. They make them. They charge us for them.
Are you telling me that we're the problem?
100%. 100%. And that's why I blamed us, where we don't want to adapt our video game taste to new games. We just want to play what we've always played over and over and over again.
Now, as the person who has had an active World of Warcraft subscription since birth, I would say, how do you make that claim?
What do you mean? How do I make that claim?
Like that
it's us.
Yeah, so you admit you're the problem.
No, but World of Warcraft isn't, and I unsub when I don't like the expansion.
You don't. No,
yes, I do. I didn't play.
Question before we move on to the actual financial success stories. Do you lose your characters if you unsub? No. You should. Why? If I was Blizzard,
why would they do that?
Chain people to the wall financially and be like,
they would never.
Listen,
that would be
you
want to
lose your weirdly, possibly you're attracted to panda character? Keep paying us. Keep paying us.
They would never. That would be the stupid. They would never get. Like, they would have lost me immediately because I would never come back. Like, I'm not leveling new characters again.
Matt, we discussed before that remakes, remasters are a very low bar to entry, and I'd agree comparatively to the rest of the market. But I also think the upside, as you pointed out, is extremely high.
Agreed.
Right? So I want to take 4 examples here, and I tried to get them from across the industry, right? Resident Evil 2 remake. Development budget of $60 million.
Yep.
Revenue, $500 million.
I'd consider that a win.
Okay. Final Fantasy VII remake. Budget of $100 million. Revenue, $300 million.
Still a win.
Crash Insane trilogy. And this is where you're going to want to sit down. Development budget, $40 million.
Yep.
Revenue, $700 million.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. Resident Evil 4 remake. Development budget, $80 million. Revenue, $300 million. So, just to be clear, most of these have at least 3x their money.
You didn't get the Spyro Reignite?
No. So
trilogy.
I could have made this list much longer. I could have gone to Dead Space remake, great success. Shadow of the Colossus, great success. Dark Souls remaster on the Switch, surprisingly great success.
They put Dark Souls on the Switch?
Yes, that's actually where I first completed Dark Souls, on a 8.5-hour round trip flight back and forth from Sweden when I first started dating Nicole. Dark Souls HD on Switch was how it was the first time I beat Dark Souls all the way through.
Switches are not sturdy enough for me to play a Souls game on them. I would literally snap it in half.
Listen, I told you I was on the plane next to me. That gentleman had Elden Ring queued up on his Steam Deck, and it made me. It'd be fine if I was a kid and he was an adult, but we were both of equal age adults, so I couldn't do like the.
What you playing?
What's your build? I spoke to him at a certain point, like. I was like, oh, is that a Steam Deck, fellow gamer? And then you know what? I'm going to go on a tangent here.
Here we go.
So for context, I was going on a work trip to Florida. Guy next to me, we're both in the aisle seat. I see he's Steam Decking, as the kids say. Decking. It's like edging, but decking. And I see that he's playing Elden Ring DLC. This is right when Erd Tree dropped. And I've never been had my gamer credentials more just completely, which is good. I guess I don't look like the basement dwelling rats that live on Discord, the real Xbox players. And so I go to him, I'm like, oh, is that a Steam Deck? And he goes, yeah, very cool. And then I'm like, oh, are you playing the DLC? And I said I used the acronym DLC. And then he looks at me like when you would try to explain something to a parent or relative. And he's like, yeah, it's a new game. It's very hard. I'm like, I use the word DLC, buddy. I know you're playing fucking Elden Ring. Don't make me feel stupid. Don't insult me.
Don't insult me.
Sadly, that plane didn't go down. So... Listen,
just cut this whole thing out of the episode.
No, this is great. You thought we're gonna rebrand? I'm not gonna have any more great side tangents. They're just on brand now. They're just on brand now.
So they 3x their money
minimum, and I could go on down the list of famous remakes and remasters. You talked about Pokemon. Hearts Gold and Soul Silver is like the most pirated and high value resold original Nintendo cartridge.
Facts.
The things that we're seeing now, people are like, if right now you went out there and you're like, Legacy of Kain reboot, like that's something that people have been wanting. Remake Final Fantasy 8 and 9, like people want this shit.
Reboot. Perfect.
My question to you is, do people want this because current games are bad compared to how good the old ones are, or we're just a bunch of nostalgia-driven monkeys?
We're a bunch of nostalgia-driven monkeys.
Well, I agree, because as you can see that, as you can see, I haven't given you a fact or figure yet. You can't see it.
I can't see shit. God forbid. What annoys me is I'm almost convinced that
I
all
made
of
all
this
this up.
are in tables. Like all of the like you have
I just refuse to
like
show them to you.
yeah, you have Google Sheets tables. I know you do
Oh
of
my
all of
god.
this information. And
Oh, that would be amazing if I just refused to show them to you.
it's just there. You're like, I don't want to use these for the episode, but there's no other way to like articulate the like data that you were presenting. Like it's either in a Word document, just like line itemed out.
Yes, that's exactly what it
Yeah.
is.
Or it's in a Google Sheets. But if it's in a Word document line itemed out, that means it could have been in a Sheets or an Excel document line itemed out and turned into a graph.
Oh my god.
You just could have done it.
Oh dear Christ. Okay,
It's
so
an extra step. It's one extra step.
Matt, you know what? What am I vehemently against? Many things, but
I was gonna say how many things am I allowed to say on this podcast that you're against?
the things that apply to this guy. Matt, what is my feeling about quote nerd shit?
Is it my nerd shit or your nerd shit?
No, broadly speaking, nerd shit.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
Well, you see a goddamn graph in this episode because graphs are for nerds. Okay,
Yep. Okay.
Let's be clear. Let's
There
be
we go.
clear.
All right.
What I wanted to do, steering this, Hindenburg back on track here, is if you look at the cadence, at least in our lifetime, we can see that major publishers, Capcom, Square Enix, your beloved Activision Blizzard, have all Sony, Nintendo, have all incorporated remakes and remasters into their release schedule in some way. And especially like with Nintendo, we're seeing that in the later half of a life cycle, you're seeing it more and more and more. That's where I think you actually see these the most prevalently, at the beginning of a console life cycle and at the end of one. What's your take on that?
I think I agree, and I think it's a great way to do it because you get putting them out in the beginning is an instant. Everyone bought their new consoles. They can still play the game that they love, and they give you another $40 to $60. At the end of a console, you don't want to put out God of War 4. God of War, are they on 3? It doesn't matter. You don't want to put out a new major IP at the end of your console's life cycle just for it to get shelved in 4 months and completely trash the sales numbers because you have the new console coming out. So I think it makes sense that the remakes and the remasters come at the beginning and the end of the life cycle. I think for me personally, the end of the life cycle makes more sense. And I think that if you were, like, for example, what they did with Breath of the Wild, you put it at the
End of the Wii U.
end. Yeah, the end of the Wii U and put it on the Switch.
Who bought that? Who did, just like with Twilight
Wii U
Princess
version?
on GameCube? Who? Come on.
I think I would have preferred Twilight Princess on the GameCube.
I don't think anybody would prefer Twilight Princess anywhere, but that's fair.
No, I love Twilight Princess. I'm not like, it wasn't my favorite. My favorite was the one actually on the GameCube, Wind Waker. Wind Waker was my favorite Zelda game. But Twilight Princess is fine. I know,
That's
it's a Link
fake
to the
news.
Past.
That's
No, I
fake
loved
news.
it. No, it was awesome. I think it was the first one that I like really played and like completed. And that's why it was my favorite. But
Fair enough.
yeah, big fan.
So, Matt,
Mhm.
I've given you a lot to chew on here in this episode.
Yep.
Between pause as I sneeze again. Hold on. Hold it.
Hold. Sneezy boy.
Yeah, man, it's morning time. You know, I'm trying
Is
to.
is that a thing? Do people sneeze more in the morning?
I don't fucking know.
Okay,
It's
I
just what
thought you
do.
Bobby, I thought you hit me with like a like I thought I had the
A
glass
graph of people
broken.
who sneeze more in the morning comparative to any other time of
God
the day.
fucking forbid. I can't wait for my next episode because I have a graph.
Look, we see as time goes on different revenue streams try to make their way into the video game space. Battle Pass, DLC, skins. But I think what people don't consider in that same realm that I do is remakes and remasters, right?
Mhm.
Because the kudos I will give is, how do I put this? Good faith nostalgia, right?
Okay.
So if I now want to, hold on. Fuck me.
Bless you.
Hold on, let's see this again, man. Let's see this again.
While you're going, I'm deeply, deeply appreciative of the fact that you also use paper towels.
In our years of friendship, have we not discussed that paper towels should be the only cleanup item in a house?
No, but I don't agree for shit.
Motherfucker.
If you could get me a bidet in the house, then yes.
No, I mean, like, you don't need napkins and tissues and paper towels. You just need paper towels.
Agreed. Paper towels, yeah. I think we've never had to discuss this because it was just a given. I don't think there is a man on the planet that would say, yeah, we need 3 forms of paper product to clean up.
Let's rock it through. Hold on. What the fuck? We're good?
Purple elephant.
Hold on. Fuck. This always happens. It's the fucking Xbox Democrats, man. They know I'm about to make a point.
And you're not about to include Xbox in it. Because low key, I was trying to rattle my brain. I don't know any like real good Xbox remakes.
You don't have.
Because like I think Doom gets I would say Doom gets rebooted.
I was gonna give you Gears Redux, and you did not want me to give you Master Chief Collection.
No, I'm cool with Master Chief. I love the Master Chief Collection.
You're the only person on the planet.
I do think that Infinite is a reboot. You better put something in this episode showing that you literally died for almost a minute and a half now.
Matt,
Bobby.
I want to talk about something called good faith nostalgia, which I feel like
Love it.
the Fortnite skin industry kind of taps into, but it's like being able to experience your favorite product with people who weren't around at the time in the best version possible. For example, when I play Resident Evil 4 with my kid, I'm not going to play the original Resident Evil 4, even though I should. It's a harder game.
Stop it.
Less quality of life.
Stop it.
When you play Minecraft with your kid, you're only going to get the one version. You're only going to get the one version.
Those are so different. Those are
but
so,
then you're going to say, oh, what about
different.
Gears Redux? You're going to play Gears Redux with your kid. Because you asked me.
I'm going to play the 5th iteration of Heart Gold and Soul Silver that they come out with.
God, I can't wait.
Because they're running out of games to remake. Although I think in their cycle they timed it out where they will never actually.
No, they're too smart. Are you kidding? Yeah. They're too smart. So, do you think compared to other supplementary revenue streams, remakes and reboots are a cash grab compared to the $25 Goku skin when you can get?
No, I think the remakes and remasters are a much. I don't want to say like I don't want to just say they're a good version because I do think they are made for money. Like, let's not get it twisted here. They're not giving us a new Pokemon game. They're not giving us Resident 4 remake because they want to.
Yeah, it's not an altruistic pursuit.
Like these are not for the good of the world. Let's give them a remake and remaster. They want money from it. I think it takes exponentially more time, labor, and dedication from the company to put out a remake or a remaster. I think it is infinitely less taxing on them to put in a Goku skin into Fortnite. And I
Oh yeah.
think the best representation of this, and I forget what the YouTuber's name is, but he was making a short. He used to work at Blizzard, and he's like, I put in 2 hours of overtime on StarCraft 2.
Oh, is this he's got
Pirate
kind of
Gaming? Pirate Gaming. I
long
think is
hair
his.
and glasses
Yeah, yeah,
guy?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he goes on to say he put in 2 years of overtime for StarCraft 2, and it was outsold by just the Sparkle Pony in World of Warcraft. The $15 microtransaction made more money than that game ever did. And it was considered a success by Blizzard. They loved StarCraft. They were happy with that product and its sales numbers, and it just made less money than the Sparkle Pony. And that's what I feel about microtransactions. I'm not a fan of microtransactions at all. I understand why they're in the game, and I think they're a necessary evil at this point, but they are nowhere near the level of respect that I have for remakes and remasters. Those are fine. I would be happy if that was the highest level of cash grab that we got, but we have the battle passes and the skins, they're no effort, especially for something like Fortnite. They're reusing assets. Like it doesn't cost them the same amount to do a remake as it does a skin in Fortnite.
Fair enough. So, Matt, as we bring this episode to a close, and we both agree that remakes and remasters are not lazy, soulless, uninspired,
Listen.
terrible.
It depends on the remake.
Well,
some of
and
them
that's what
are
I wanted
just
to
bad.
close with, because the side of the sword we haven't touched with here is, while clearly there's a lot of financial upside, remakes and remasters, despite the fact that they're coming out more frequently right now, I feel like in the internet age are under a lot more scrutiny, because you have, Jacob being like, Mario moves 4 frames to the right in Paper Mario Remastered, and in the original he moves 6 frames to the right. Therefore, this game isn't. Shut up, Jacob.
Listen, Jacob's gonna Jacob.
So while you do have that good faith nostalgia that I talked about, how do you sort of reconcile big changes? And one of the things I wanted to bring up also in Resident Evil is, in Remake, there is a huge section of that game that's cut out. Granted, in the original game, that section is tedious, annoying, puzzle driven. They cut out the clock tower, spoiler alert. But a lot of people were pretty butthurt about it. What's your thoughts?
I think you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, with moving content around in a remake remaster. You're always going to have the people that are going to say this isn't the exact same thing, and like you were quoting Jacob, you're moving this many frames this way, and it'll never be a 1-for-1 remake. And when you give them a 1-for-1 remake,
this isn't a new game. This isn't a new game. This is basically the same. There's zero development when it's shut up, Jacob.
So I think
making these people happy, Matt.
It's up to the developer, unless it is a game that I like, and then it is up to me what should be in the game. But listen, if you're telling me that they took a part of the game that you don't like out of the game, fine. Did anyone love it? Like, they definitely...
do me a favor, in the comments, if you're a PS1 Resident Evil 3 Nemesis Clock Tower stan, unsubscribe. I don't need you here.
Unsubscribe.
I don't need you, and I definitely don't want you.
But, and I'm going to call this back to Pokemon again, because they are the remakes that I played the most. But, like, the Sevi Islands in Fire Red and Leaf Green. The little, like, side story where you go, save the girl from the Hypno, which wild story to put in the mainline game Pokemon. Like, wild.
Yeah.
It didn't detract from the main story. They added a little bit of content in, made it a little bit better, eased out one of the like level curves during that area for it. Fantastic. Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver. I wish they would have taken out the Team Rocket base, where it's just like battle after battle after battle after battle after battle of like level 17 Zubats. Like, get that out of the game. So I like, there's things that they can take out, there's things that they can't take out. If you're gonna change the core of the game, don't take it out. Like, if you were to take Pokemon out of a Pokemon game, maybe don't. But I think I'm willing to leave it to their artistic vision for what they want. And they know better than we do. And I know that
First
is
of all, no, they don't.
Yes, they. I guarantee
no, they
you.
don't. No,
I guarantee you.
If Phil Spencer knows better than you
On what makes a successful game, I would imagine that he's better than I am. But regardless, I think let them make whatever changes they want, as long as it doesn't shift from the core value of the game. Like, you want to take out a zone because unanimously, when you go through reviews of the original release, it was everyone's least favorite. It was what people didn't want about the game. And then you're going to put new content in on top of it? Sure, cut it out.
Matt, when you and I agree it's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful Sunday here in America.
So my thing is, we haven't not agreed.
Because listen, I struggle to use this word best friend because...
Is it because I offered to help you move and your other best friend left?
Oh, he's dead to me. He's dead to me. No, you're my best friend because we both overcome a borderline terminal illness together at children, which is more emotional hard work than your average softie will ever do in their entire life.
At no point can you call cancer possibly terminal.
But excuse me?
Without intervention, it is not like you don't get a term. Do I have the wrong definition of terminal illness?
Yeah, Matt, we know plenty of people who, with intervention, have succumbed to.
No. But like, and we will have to cut this out because I'm just grossly misunderstanding this.
Yeah.
Terminal illness is an illness that will kill you eventually.
Correct.
But we got treatment and then recovered. Is terminal like there is no other option besides...
Like you're dying either way.
Okay, then never mind. Yeah, you're correct. So, apologize for the tangent.
I don't even know, Matt, what I'm cutting, what I'm not cutting. This episode's in shambles.
Cut that.
What I was gonna say is, my best friend. Even though you leave me on red a lot lately, Matt.
Oh my god, it's because you sent me stupid fucking memes while I'm working. I can't read them.
Okay, first of all, maybe I'm gonna have to procure myself another best friend because.
Oh my god!
Because
between you and my brother,
I asked you
read my messages.
I asked you a very simple question yesterday.
What did you?
Oh yeah, so you didn't even read it.
I was driving.
Oh, it's actually about driving. I said, when you come over next weekend, how far between where I am and where you're going? What is the distance?
45 minutes, I think.
Okay, great. That's all I needed to know, man. Account for time. But no.
That's it. That's what you wanted to get across?
That was it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard and you want to hear more of it, give us a like and a subscribe down below. Follow us on all the major social platforms, but primarily YouTube. This is where we hang out. Leave us a good review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Don't forget to join the Discord, and Bobby just did an intro or an outro.
And as always,
I'm so excited. Happy gaming.